everyone, it's Allison from Fathom 5 Tarot, and I'm here to do your week ahead reading. So today is the 28th of February, last day of February, and tomorrow's March. Oh my goodness. So there has been in my family a robin sighting here. I haven't seen it, but one has been sighted, which means spring is coming. It's pretty cold here today, so I've got a scarf on still, but whatever. We take the signs if we could get them. And I'm going to do a little reading. So I've got an oracle deck out here in case I want it. And today I'm going to use the Spacious Tarot by, Carrie Mallon and Annie Root. One day. I will get that right. Right, maybe that's how you say it. So this is a beautiful deck that I love a lot. But I found, I haven't used it really, I haven't used it for a reading in ages. And actually, this may be my first reading with it. I really found that during the pandemic, and we're still sort of in pandemic times, I wanted people, my cards. But I do love it, and it's super beautiful. So this is pretty fresh and raw. Like, this is like coming to a brand new deck for me, even though I've had it for quite a while. So the conceit of the Spacious Tarot is that there's just no people in it. It's spaces, outdoor, empty spaces. So we'll see how this goes and if I post it. I feel a little nervous about less familiar decks, but here we are. Can you hear my dog snoring? Sound asleep on my feet. It's big too. It's keeping my feet warm. So I'll throw down a few cards, maybe a few more, maybe some clarifiers. Who knows? Who knows what evil lurks in the minds of men? The shadow knows. I don't know what I'm doing. Guys, I'm delirious. I've been working really hard this weekend. I'm a teacher and my spring break got moved. The province decided, whatever, it's, I think, not a great decision. But anyway, so I had sort of expected to have time to plan some lessons and be away from school starting at the end of this week. And I don't have that now. So just frantically trying to get my act together, which I feel like is the motto of the past year. Almost at a year since, well, in my area, the 13th of March is the pandemic anniversary when went home from school and didn't go back for that school year. All right, enough blabbing. Let's get to it. I want to hear all my stories of woe. Whoop. Those aren't jumpers. That was clumsiness. So now I'm going to do a little bit more shuffling. Sorry. Should I start over? I'm not going to do it. Here we go. Okay. Whew. It's a bit of a heavy one from this beautiful light deck. So I think I'll do what I usually did this with newer decks, but I think I'm just going to do it every time. So I do have a card in reverse, so I'll show it first in the upright position, just so you get a sense of what it looks like in this deck, and then I'll tell you which ones are reversed. So the first one that arrived in the reverse position, actually the only one, is the Child of Cups card. What a beauty, like a koi pond in its own little cup there. But I got it like this. I'll put it back down like that. Then the next two cards are upright. In the center, the Five of Swords. At the end, the Justice card. So, you're hurt. Somebody hurt you, I think. If we look at the cups as it was reversed, but I'll talk about it upright just so it makes a little bit more sense in your brain as you watch this. Um, the Child of Cups card is, to me, if this is the emotional trajectory, then these are like the freshest, most tender emotions, the most childlike emotions, full of wonder. But because it showed up in the reversed position, I feel like if this is a reading for you, it's maybe because you're feeling particularly raw or tender about a specific just something specific happened to you recently. I don't know if it happened to you recently, but the emotions feel raw and maybe trigger some of your insecurities, like those things that you feel like you should have matured out of. And yet, those insecurities can be so deep seated. I speak from personal experience. We probably all have these types of things. But someone has hurt you in a way that triggers something, a familiar hurt, something that you worry about, and they, in your mind, intentionally or unintentionally, have confirmed this sort of negative self-talk in your mind about yourself. And so you're feeling in that fresh, exciting, raw emotion that you might have, like the super positive relationship you normally have with a person. There's something there that hasn't gone right for you and you feel badly about. Because it's the child, if you're coming to this with a mature mind, you may even recognize that this is not a logical way to approach it. Sometimes we can be quite selfish in our childlike emotions, right? Like you are committed to your partner, and yet an ex tells you that they're seeing somebody and you get jealous, right? Like it's something that doesn't make any logical sense. And if you were to play that scenario out, for example, it would be bad, but that's the type of emotion I sort of get from this card in reverse. That even though your logical brain is telling you you shouldn't feel as hurt, you shouldn't feel the intensity of emotion that you do, it doesn't matter. You're feeling those emotions. Emotions are real and they're meant to be experienced and then thought through. So there's that. And this is compounded to me by this Five of Swords in the middle, right? This conflict. This is a great depiction. The thing I like about the Five of Swords card is that the battle is over. And to me, the Waite-Smith deck is pretty ambiguous about who you're supposed to root for in that card, right? The victor is in the foreground, but he's looking pretty smug about it. And then the people off in the background who clearly been beaten in the background look hurt. And I love this depiction. It's so cool, right? The vulture is looking down, but there's nothing to eat. There's nothing has come out of this, right? Like to me, a vulture is like the renewal of life, and things are like, it's gross, but he feeds on carrion and then he gets stronger, and it's all a part of nature. But this seems like a pointless fight to me, right? He can just look down at the discarded swords and be like, what was the point of that? Like, who got anything out of that nonsense? Nobody. So if we look at that in relation to this Child of Cups card, I'll put it upside down because it was reversed. Like, whatever this feeling is, this wasn't worth it in order for you to end up with this feeling. And I don't know, I mean, maybe it's because your reaction it's an overblown reaction to whatever this thing was, or maybe the person who did this either didn't know the impact it would have on you, or worse, was like, I know this isn't a field to die on, but I'm going to do it anyway. I know what the fallout of this is going to be. And if that's the case, that sucks. Sorry, my glasses keep sliding down. I don't know. It's hard for me to know. But this was pointless, dumb, right? And sort of it wasn't worth getting this for this dumb battle. But the final card is the Justice card. And again, God, this deck is so good. I'm really glad I'm reading this one today for you guys. Because of this depiction of justice, obviously it's a card of balance, black and white, and then ripples coming out from the water. And I think it's really important that to look at the ripples in this card. Right? Like, what's going to cause the best outcome? Because if you fight for justice, right? If you've been wronged and you've been hurt, there's a sorry, my dog just had a huge snore. There's a better way and a worse way to go about getting what you think is justice. And because it involves these childlike emotions, I think like that sort of classic coming to a place of understanding where the two sides are together and then the water can ripple out uniformly from them. I don't get the sense that this is the type of conflict that would make you want to end a relationship. But this person has to know like what turned your little child of cups upside down. But the way in which you approach that to let them know will be really critical. So will you have a giant splash for your justice card? Will you just go nuts and then say you should have known and, you've really hurt me and I'll never forgive you? Or are you going to try and find a way to mediate this out? The way this justice card looks tells me that maybe this relationship is sort of worth going through, right? Going through this little thing, and maybe you'll get to go on to the page, or to the Knight, Queen, King of Cups with this person once you have this solidified understanding. Oof, I'm already at 11 and a half minutes, so I'm not going to pull an oracle card, but I hope you enjoyed that. If you're feeling tender and raw or emotional this week, look to this card. What can you do to rebalance things to make it right if this is a productive relationship for you to continue going on with? And then it will be enriched because then everybody will be wiser. Hope that helps, and have a great week. We will see you in March. Bye.